So pause if you want to look at the code on screen at any length, because actually I do have to preface this because there is the the black character I'm playing as, oh my sweet goodness, I finally got it out, did come out after another character, but I cannot in good faith, as I get as a test fatalist run, play that character when I haven't played other characters in the past that also have, let's just say, terms applied to them. So yeah. Even though common sense might dictate certain other things to be said, and again, this might use the Streisand effect. Also, what was I on? Fatalist. Yeah, Streisand effect. Then I mean, there's not really much else to say. It is what it is. I'll mention it again after the timestamp. But as we get into Zektas Fatalist custom character, note that we will not have a timestamp here. So I'll go over the code in a moment. Just one last reminder, as I actually get the syringe, is that I also gave the backpack to this character just for fun little character modding extension, is that yes, I've skipped over certain characters because of, let's just say, terms and services, basically. But mainly terms, as we get dexterity second encounter, Toxicon, Charisma, Strength, and maybe a light check. And also, yeah, I'm not going to add an end screen because I just ended up making this video later, so it is what it is. Again, I usually try to play it safe. There are times in which when I decide to go forward with something, it's because I'm confident that, you know, nothing too bad is going to happen. But at the same time, I really shouldn't be too careful in some cases. In this case, I am, though. So as we get, I didn't change my mysteries, by the way, so we do have taxi and rental. Into three things. By the way, taxi and rental, we do have to take those at some time, but we'll take whatever this is first. It's sailors, but we do start with a weapon. We'll probably be better off. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Otherwise, no, I've looked into and or played basically almost every character, event, mystery, and stuff that's come out. However, I do have to skip some because, you know, it's probably not great to play everything that comes out. So I have to pick and choose. And this series is focused on PERM regardless, but that's not an excuse to not play a character or an event, go through events or an event pack, a mystery, so on and so forth. I think I've also skipped a few mysteries, but that's because some of those mysteries do have crashes inside of them. So, shrug. But enough about that. I will explain more if anyone wants to know more, but otherwise, I'll say in a future video. For this video, just know that the code that I had is basically choosing in between two things that can happen at the very beginning of a run. Now, this doesn't make sense in the context of one run, but if you're doing multiple runs and you want to kind of make a character that has you know, changes based on your run that you're on, then you can add, you can feel free to just use the code I'm using. It's not like the code I use belongs to anyone or something like that. But as we actually throw away this weapon because it's doing really worse, it's probably worse. Yeah, it's not like code belongs to me or whatnot. And if you didn't know, basically to explain what's happening in the code is that you're deciding between two items to keep it simple. I wanted to keep it simple, so I just made it an effect that picks one of two things. Either I get the syringe or I get a can of Eldsoft, which in this case, the weapon is far better, even if it is a 3 damage fast weapon. In fact, that's perfectly fine, but if it was any worse weapon, in some cases, the can of Eldsoft would be great. Primarily in cases which you want to option select, in case you're doing a risky move that, you know, there's a chance that if you miss an attack or something, you lose the run, then you want to use a recovery item. But in the case of a weapon like the syringe, it's perfectly fine. In fact, it's a lot better because you're not using Doom to buy and prepare weapons. Something else that I was actually looking into that I was preparing is that I wanted to basically, for PERM specific things, I wanted to basically look at an enemy's HP and compare it to the player's stamina or reason. And in particular, I didn't find anything. There could have been something. Again, I didn't have a lot of time. I basically spent like 30 minutes tops looking around trying to do things. I should have actually leveled up as well. And specifically just trying to grab the character's current stamina, current reason. Yeah, I think you can grab max reason, max stamina, but again, I don't remember. And again, this is not criticism or an attempt to persuade to add certain things to PERM or base World of War custom content capabilities. It's just me kind of, it is me actually, testing the limits of what I can and cannot do. And you can already do quite a lot. Again, let's back into the forest. that's right, we're on a task run, so we actually need to increase our strength and charisma. So let's keep a note of that. We don't have a charisma perk. We're going to hold out for it. We do have CQC training, and I think this character started off with the police revolver, but the syringe is far better. So because it can proc items that are actually quite useful, I'll admit. So that's all I have to say at the moment. To return back to the topic we're talking about, I forgot, actually. So we'll move on. We'll grab cigarettes and move on. One last thing to note about what I was mentioning with not playing characters and whatnot. I'm playing it really safe. Not just the character I wanted to play that came out, or characters that may have come out recently, or even the past. Certain basically IPs cannot be connected with games of a violent nature, or games that have drug use, so on and so forth. Games that may have explicit, that may have basically risque portrayals here and there. So that's why I may not be playing certain characters, mysteries, so on and so forth. There's a limit to what I can push with certain things. Like, I've obviously played games on this channel that can be considered controversial in certain places, not just in places where I live, but other places as well. But I play those games in a very, I guess, with a scientific purpose, basically, to just show off that how it functions as a video game. And common sense wise, all of this should be good, but again, when laws, terms, rules are set up, I don't want to push those rules. So yeah. And again, this extends out to anything else. Again, at this point, you could point to things, games I've played on this channel and be like, Jordan, you did this, and this. No. Yes, but there are reasons why that I think fit. And for some reason, you can point out one hypocritical thing here and there. It's like, Jordan, you did this, and you said that you do this and this. Then shrug, right? I mean, I guess you caught me. But for the most part, I do try to keep things safe in general. I don't like to take risks in that way. So hey, which sounds odd because again, I've played a few games on this channel that can be considered controversial, but like terms of service and wise, I don't think I've done anything wrong. So yeah, that's all I can say on that matter. Anyway, we are going to destroy the tape because we cannot fight this boss. What was I talking about? I was something about the code that I was going over at the very beginning of the video. Yeah, I guess the choice of basically randomizing things, yeah, because recently, for some reason it was recently, and it wasn't like just immediately, I noticed that you can use a range function basically to assign a value between certain numbers. I know I've mentioned this before. I'll mention it again though, because I mean, it is something I've run into. We're just going to increase charisma, by the way. And it's a really useful piece of code to be able to use. I say code, my mind is going crazy at the moment because I am rushing because I'm also doing stuff in real life, but shrug, right? So I'm doing my best. But yeah, being able to assign a variable to a range of numbers in this specifically is very useful to be able to do. By the way, 3 strength and sadness. We'll just go with it. -1 all, but maybe we get something better. We can probably throw this yeah, we do want to throw the Eldritch Fluid, by the way, because we can hit this attack. I think we get relatively good odds. Yeah, we do. In fact, this is guaranteed, so yeah, off we go. If you have anything to say, if you have anything you want to talk about, whether from this video or other videos, because I know there have also been people asking questions in terms of, hey, Jordan, how do you do this, and this in World of 4? Or even questions in the community, World of 4 specifically, of, basically mod things, whether it's PERM or otherwise, and maybe just information about the next update, because I think it was about 24, 48 hours ago since the time of this video's recording, in which the official announcement was made, but I don't think I recall us getting a date specifically anywhere. So I'm shrugging in real life as I say. That's all I know what to say at the moment. I mean, we don't have a date, and if we do, correct me. we did get a charisma perk here, so I mean, shrug. But how was I to know we were gonna get it? But yeah, moving on. So I'll do the best with what I've got. Again, still trying to do game dev stuff, still trying to do my own projects, still looking around, and also engaging with other things if for no other reason than to improve my own understanding, whether it's game dev, writing, character design, so on and so forth. Yeah, a lot of things. Specifically also sound design in the way of music. Oh, Book of Gore, boo. But yeah, you understand what I mean at this point. If you don't, again, basically specifically looking into art and looking at how to use music in video game, but also just making games in general. By the way, this is our last mystery. Let's just run away because that's a very painful encounter to run into, and thankfully we should be able to. Nope, not with that. We're gonna take experience here just in case we need it. Because I would like the extra reason stamina. Let's take a quick look. So 5 Doom, 6 Doom, and we should be okay. Yeah, we should be okay. So we're just gonna rest once and be on our merry way up this lighthouse. We'll level up now. And this character actually wanted to keep the police revolver. I threw it away because I had the syringe, but I think the syringe did some work as well. So hey, also these cigarettes. But onward and offward we go. I have played characters that you could consider as like, well, Jordan, this character, you know, say has this and this background. I know I just came back to a topic I wasn't supposed to be, I didn't want to come back to, but I mean, bear with me here, but just trying to be safe. And again, common logic, but at this point, I'm just gonna play it safe. I mean, I try not to mention things outright anyway, because there's no reason to put out Streisand effect. But anyway, not really much else to say here as we end this run. Again, if you want to look at more code, or if you want to know how to do certain things, you can also ask me. I'll probably just slap it at the beginning of the video and allow you to pause and look at it. But otherwise, not really much else to talk about. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, you know what to do. Otherwise, not going to make up too much more of your time, except for the fact that I don't have an end screen, so I should probably just extend this for the next 15 seconds. But yeah, if you have any code-specific questions, I'll try to answer. If you have any PERM-specific questions, best to ask the team behind PERM on Nexus Mods. I guess that's the more accurate way because, again, I don't know. I don't know how the insides of World of Horror and PERM work specifically. I definitely know the documentation, which is, you know, documentation. You can look at it as well, but if you want to ask me how to do things maybe more efficiently and otherwise, or just get something done, I'll be glad to show you. If nothing else, I'll test the code that I use and throw it up. That way you can get an idea of working code. Or if you want me to throw the code somewhere on maybe the Discord server, but it will probably be somewhere else instead. But yeah, without further ado, I do have a repository, so I could probably use that. But yeah, not going to take up too much more of your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!